Good morning, dear learners. In today's lecture, we'll discuss about retail pricing strategy. What are the retail pricing strategy? Pricing strategy refers to the process of determining the optimal price of the product or services that a retailer offers to the customers. So, that is the prices for the product or the services which a retailer offers to the customers. And retail pricing strategy involves analyzing various factors such as production cost, the competitors' pricing, customer demand, and perceived value to set the price that are both profitable and competitive. So, when you are setting a price for any product or the services, there are various factors which should be considered before setting up the price, right? That is the production cost of that product or the service, the competitors' pricing, the customer demands, value of that product or the services, right? And then set the price that are both profitable and competitive, right? So, pricing strategy is the process of determining the optimal price for the product or services that a retailer offers to the customers. There are external influences on the retail pricing strategies. Using the Potter's model to analyze these factors for strategic pricing, it can be broadly segmented into four forces, that is, customers. So, customers impacts the pricing strategies. Second factor which influences the retail pricing strategy is the supplier. The third factors is competitor, and the fourth factor is the government. So these are the four factors according to the Porter's model. These are the factors which influences the retail pricing strategy: the customer, the supplier, competitors, and the government. A retailer need to understand the price sensitivity of the customers that form their target segment. So before setting up the price for any of the product or the services, it is very important that retailer should understand the price sensitivity of the customer, whether the customer is price sensitive or not, right? How much the customer is price sensitive. That form their target segment. What is the target segment? What is the target segment? What is segmentation and what is targeting? I hope you understand. Uh, what is segmentation? When we divide a market into a heterogeneous market into small homogeneous group, then that is not the segmentation. And when we choose one of the segment who could be a potential target or to whom we want to cater, then that is known as the target. So, it is very important for any marketer to understand the price consciousness of the target market or their customer. One needs to know the customer's desires for the different product, whether the price is important issue in purchasing the product. It is important that you should understand the price sensitivity of the customer. And second is whether your product, how much your product or services is important for the customer, right? Is a price important issue in their purchasing decision? Even if your product is important, they will not buy your product because they are price sensitive. Or if your product is that important that they are ready to buy at any cost, a price range that people will pay for product need to be established. So whether your price sensitive, whether it is there are three things which a retailer should understand: the price sensitivity of the customer, and the value of their product for the customers, and the range that people will pay for the product. That is very important to be established. Target the consumer segment based on the price sensitivity. So three we discussed about the three factors. The first factor was the price sensitivity, whether your consumer is price sensitive or not. The first is economic oriented. The customer who are economic oriented, they don't differentiate among various retailers on other factor other than price, right? They don't, it hardly matters to them whether you are a big store, what is the image of your store, what quality of product you are selling, what services are you providing. They are just price conscious. They differentiate the retailers, they differentiate among the retailers or between the retailers on the basis of the price of the product, not any other factor matters to them. Then that is known as economic oriented. They don't differentiate among various retailer on other factor other than price. They differentiate on the basis of price only. Next type of customer is convenience oriented. They are willing to pay higher price for reduction in the shopping efforts. I don't want to invest much time in shopping. I would rather prefer to pay more and buy that product. And these type of customer are known as the convenience oriented. They their convenience are very important to that. Third type is image oriented customers. Image oriented is they differentiate between the various store on the base of the image and the product they stock and not the price. So image oriented, they prefer, they for them the image of the store and the product they stock, the retailer stock is important for them. Price is not important for these type of customers. So they are image oriented. Variety oriented, they prefer retailers who have a wide range and assortments to choose from and charge a fair price. So variety oriented. First is economic oriented, price matters to them only, right? Then image oriented is the image of the store and the product they keep, their stock matters to them, not the price. Convenience oriented, their convenience, they don't want to invest much time in shopping. They prefer to pay more. That is convenience oriented. Their convenience is important to them. And then the variety oriented is they prefer to purchase from the shop which has a wide range and assortment to choose from and have fair prices. Then loyalty oriented. These customer purchases at a familiar places where the retailer or staff of the retail outlet recognize them. Example of the loyalty oriented is jewelry. We prefer to purchase a jewelry from a well-known shop where we know the people, where we have a trust, right? So this is loyal oriented, that the customer purchases from the familiar price, although we know that jeweler charges higher, but still we prefer to buy from that person, from a well-known retailer. Key effect, right? Then the next is key effect, examining price elasticity, right? What is price elasticity and what are the key effects? If demand changes by more than the price has changed, the good is said to be the elastic. And if demand changed by the less the price, it is called the inelastic. See, whether your product, how valuable your product is, how important your product is, right? So the demand and supply demand depends on the price. Though before understand the law of demand and law of price, it is very important to understand the pricing elasticity. Pricing elasticity is if there is a change in the demand, if change in the demand is more than the price has changed, then that product is known as product elastic, right? And if demand changes by less than the price, then it is the price inelastic, right? If demand changes more, then that product is known as elastic. And if there is not much change in the demand, then that is known as price inelastic, right? Then difficult comparison effect. Customers are more sensitive to price when it is easy to compare competing offers. A retailer cannot charge higher prices on Amul butter, which is widely available and one customer can easily compare the prices. So, it is very important when while you are making these strategies for the customer, right? For while you are making the pricing strategies, consider what type of a customer you are targeting, whether it is a loyal loyal type of a customer. Consider whether it is a image oriented type of a segment or a variety oriented or convenience oriented or economic oriented. And then after considering this, second step is consider the price elasticity. This will tell you about your good. If there is a change in the demand, if there is more change in the demand then the price, then that your product is price elastic. And if there is not much change in the demand, then your product is less elastic. Next is difficult what type of a product you are selling, whether that product is available everywhere, right? Customers are more sensitive when it is easy to compare the competing offers. Like if product is available at each and every shop, then it's easy for the customer to compare the price, right? You cannot charge higher price on that. That is easily available because customer can easily compare the price. Then benefit or price effects. This defines the relationship between people's perceptions of the benefit they receive for a product from a product and the price they pay for it. In other words, I can say value for money is what is that product is valuable for me. So price effect or the benefit effect is relationship between the people's perception of the benefit they will get from the product. How beneficial that product is. Do I need that product? Is it worth spending that much on this product? Right? Should I buy this product? Should I invest my money on this? What are the benefits of this product? Do I need this product? Is it of some use to buy this product? How this product will help me out? So what benefit will I get from this product? That is known as benefit price effect. Then the situation effect. Customer sensitivity to price can differ depending on the situation. So at times the people pay more for the product. Suppose if a packet of Maggi costs around 10 to 12 rupees normally, but at hill station we are ready to pay even 50 rupees for that packet of Maggi. Then that is known as the situation effect. The customer sensitivity to price can differ depending on the situation, because situation is like that because there are only one or two shops which are selling the product and we need that product, then we are ready to pay more, right? Then situation affects the sensitivity of the price or the customers. Then second factor which one should consider is supplier. Both the retailers and the supplier like to have control and want the price according to their own image, goals, and objectives. Number of suppliers, few large suppliers or fragmented sources of suppliers impacts the pricing strategies, right? So how many number of suppliers are there, whether there are few large suppliers are there or fragmented source of supply is there, right? Number of substitute for a particular merchandise impacts the pricing strategies, right? If there are substitutes available for my product, then I'll think at what price I should sell my product. If the price, if I'll keep the price of my product is at high is on the higher side, if the price of my product is on higher side, then people will switch to another product because substitutes are available. The switching cost of from one supplier to another supplier, If there are many suppliers available and they are supplying the similar type of the product, then people can switch from one supplier to another supplier. What is the switching cost? If switching cost is less, then it impacts the decision, strategic decision. Suppliers level of forward integration in order to obtain higher prices and margins. The third is competitor. The third factor which impact is competitors. Competitors are the most influential factors in determining the price. The competitive environment affects the freedom of a retailer to fix a price to a great extent. So competitor plays a very important role in determining the price. It's a very influential factor. The competitive environment affects the freedom of a retailer to fix the price to a great extent. You cannot keep the price of the product as you wish. The competitor plays a very important role. So, if we'll discuss the market according to the competition, then first market is a perfectly competitive market. If market is a perfectly competitive type of a market, right, the perfectly competitive market is most competitive market. It is the most competitive market. Products in this market, products are homogeneous and information is perfect. Homogeneous product is available. If the price of your product is higher, a customer will switch to the another another company's product. So company products are homogeneous and information is specific, is perfect. Say example of electronic goods. If you want to buy a toaster, right, it's a homogeneous type of a product, or a washing machine, it's a homogeneous type of product, and information specification they are providing you is perfect. Everybody is price taker, where firms earn only normal profit. In this market, the firms can earn only normal profit. If a firms earn more than or excess profit, the absence of barrier to entry means that the other firms will enter the market and drive the price level down until their normal profits to be made. In this market, the entry of new company is easy. New entrants can easily enter the market, right? And if suppose if someone thinks to get more profit or earn more profit, there are no barriers to the entry, and a new company can enter in the market and will bring down the profit margin because they will compete with you. They will bring down the prices until the normal profits are made. So this is the perfect competitive market. There are no barriers for new entrants, right? Next type of a market is a monopoly type of a market. Monopoly is said to exist when the production of goods or services with no close substitutes is carried out by a single firm with the market power to decide the price of its output. See, monopoly, as the name suggests, monopoly. Mono means one. There is no substitute, is no close substitute for your product or service is available, and that product or service has been a single firm is carrying out that product or services, right? And when there is only one firm which are providing those services or goods, they have a power to decide the price of its output, at what price they want to sell their product or services. Monopoly. When I am the only one who is producing a product or providing the services and no other substitute is available in the market, if you want to purchase that good or service, then it is in my hand at what cost, at what price I would like to sell my product. It decides its price by calculating the quantity of output at which its margin revenue would equals at marginal cost, and then sets whatever price would enable it to sell exactly that quantity. So this market is known as monopoly market. Perfect competitive market is substitutes are available. There are no barriers for new entrant, and because there are no barrier for new entrant, you cannot keep the price of your product at higher side. It that is the perfect competitive market. Monopoly market is when there is no substitute, close substitute available for your product or the services, and there are various barrier for the new entrants. It's not easy for new entrant to enter into that market, right? And because there is only one firm which produces or provides the goods or the services, that type of services, they have they are the market power, and they can decide the price of the output. So this is monopoly market. Next type of market is oligopoly. Oligopoly is when a few firms dominate the market. They either behave so by forming a coalition or by plan informally to prefer non-competitive price. They do not compete on price. They may produce as much and charge as little as if they were in the market with perfect competition. Example is Pepsi and Cola. Right? Oligopoly market is when a few firms dominate the market. There are very few options available, and they don't compete on the prices. They planned informal to prefer a non-price competition. The cost of the Pepsi and Coca-Cola is almost similar. There is hardly any difference. When they do compete on the price, they may produce as much and charge as little as if they were in a perfect competitive market, right? And monopolistic competition lies somewhere between a perfect competition and monopoly. Monopolistic perfect competition and monopoly, it is known as an imperfect competition. There are fewer firms than in a perfectly competitive market, and each can differentiate its product from rest, perhaps by advertisements or through small differences in design. As a result, firms can earn some extra profit, although not as much as pure monopoly, without a new entrant being able to reduce price through competition, right? So monopolistic market is in between the perfect competition and monopoly. So perfect competition is what? Perfect competition and monopoly. In this market, in monopolistic market, there is an imperfect competition. Imperfect competition means there are fewer firm than in perfect competitive market. There is a competition, but there are fewer firm. Not much firms are there in that. There who are producing that type of a product or services, and each firm can differentiate their product from the rest on the from the rest, and uh, on the basis of design or differences or through the advertisements, right? These firms can earn some extra profit through, but not as much as in the pure monopoly, without a new entrant being able to reduce the price through competition. So on the basis of competition, it's important for a retailer to decide the price of the product, what type of a target segment he is serving, and what type of a market he is in, whether the product which he is offering to the consumer is like the market for that product is perfect competitive market or monopolistic market or a monopoly market or a oligopoly market, then accordingly you can charge for your product. Then comes the government plays an important role in deciding the price of a product, right? Price discrimination, this means when a vendor sells the same product for two or more customers at different prices, This discrimination can occur between the retailer or the customer, or between the retailer and his vendor. That is known as the price discrimination. Suppose if you want to buy, say, some jewelry, right? Some artificial or imitated jewelry, right? Then a retailer can sell his product at different prices to the different customer. Suppose he kept the price of a water bottle at 100, and someone came and asked the prices at 100, and someone has paid him 100, and then another came and they said, nee, nee, I'll pay only 90 rupees. Then he sold that bottle at 90 to another. So this is price discrimination when vendors sell the same product to two or more customer at different prices. Then that is price discrimination. Next is vertical price fixing. What is vertical price fixing? It involves agreement to fix a price between parties at different level of the same marketing channel. The agreements are usually set to price at manufacturer's suggested retail price. So pricing either above or below MRP is often a source of conflict. Retailer cannot sell above MRP. However, it is not permissible under law. So vertical pricing fixing, there is a agreement between the different level, right? Between the different level of the marketing channel, right? At what price that product can be sold. So this is vertical pricing fixing. Then the horizontal price fixing. Suppose a manufacturer sells that product at 50 rupees to the wholesaler that product at 60 rupees to the retailer, and retailer can sell at 70 rupees. And if MRP is 72, then according to law, that retailer cannot sell that product above MRP. So from 50 to 60 to 70, up to 72 rupees, that product can be sold. Okay. Horizontal price fixing, it involves agreement between the retailers that are in direct competition with each other to have the same prices. Horizontal price fixing is always illegal since it surpasses the competition while often raising the cost to the consumers. This is horizontal. When horizontal means when someone is at the same position, when the two retailers, suppose there are two kirana shops in your vicinity, and they decided they are in direct competition with each other, and they decided to sell the product at the same prices. Then that is known as the horizontal price fixing, and it is illegal because it suppresses the competition and it impacts the consumer. It costs more to the consumers. Then predatory pricing. This means establishing merchandise price to drive competition away from the marketplace, and it is known as and it is illegal. This is predatory pricing. A retailer can, however, sell the same merchandise at the different prices at different geographical locations if the cost of sale or deliveries are different, right? So, according to the Porter model, right, the retail pricing strategies depends on the customer, it depends on the supplier, and then it depends on the competitors, and then it depends on the government. These four factors plays an important role in deciding the price for the product, pricing a product, right? Okay, what are the objectives of retail pricing? First objective is to earn the profit, no doubt. Why we sell the product? To earn the profit, right? We want to earn the profit. Then if only if a business is making a profit, then only that business can survive, otherwise it cannot survive. So the first objective is to earn the profit. Next is market share. Market share is you keep the price. If market share is when you want to grab more market share according to your market share, and according to your plans to grab the market share, you keep the price of your product, right? So market share, then the market share plays an important role. See, whether your product is product or service is for classes, or whether your product or service is for masses. You have to decide. If it is for the market, it means you want to share. If you want, it means you want more market share, and then you have to keep the price of the product accordingly. If it is for the classes, it means the market share is comparatively low, and you want to earn more profit from those classes, right? So market share first is to earn profit. First objective of pricing is to earn profit. I should keep the price of the product so that I can earn profit, and I should keep the price of the product or service so that I can increase my market share, right? Then competitor oriented. The pricing strategies depends on the competition, whether it's a monopolistic market, whether it's a monopoly market or a oligopoly market or a perfect competitive market. What type of competitive, what type of a market I'm dealing in, right? So it depends on the type of the market I am dealing in, as well as the competitors, how many competitors and the substitute products or services available to the customers. So competitor objective, and I want an advantage over competitor. If you want an advantage over competitor, it depends on the then you can decide your price. Buyer oriented objectives, what type of buyers you are targeting, whether they are economic oriented, whether they are convenience oriented, whether they are value oriented, whether they are image oriented. So a buyer oriented objective is there. So what type of a market you are targeting. So retail pricing objective is there. Government oriented objectives, there are certain rules and laws which one has to follow. Right? One cannot sell the any product above MRP as per government rules. If anyone sells any of the product above our MRP, that is illegal. Right? So there are various rules, various laws, various policies which one has to follow while deciding the price of a product or the services. Then the product oriented objective, what type of a product you are offering, right? Then product oriented objectives. So retail pricing objectives, all these are the retail price objective, right? What are the approaches of retail pricing? First is discount orientation approach. Discount orientation approach, here the low prices are used as a major tool for competitive advantage, wherein the store portrays a low status image while profit margins are kept low to target the price based customer. That is discount orientation. When you sell a product on discounts, 50% off, 30% off, 10% discount, right? So this is discount oriented, and it is a tool for the competitive, and it is a tool for competitive advantage. When you want advantage over your competitor, then you up this type of approach, that is discount orientation, when you give discounts on the products, and the profit margins are kept low in this discount orientation of approach to target price based customers, right? Then at the market orientation, these kinds of store normally set average prices. It offers a solid services, a nice atmosphere to the shopper. Margins are average to good, and it stocks moderate to the above quality product. So, what type of discount orientation is when you are targeting a price based customer, and you are keeping the price of your product at lower side. At market orientation is you keep the uh, you set the average prices, neither low nor high, average prices, and you provide the services or product which are of a good quality. Margins are average to good, and you provide a nice atmosphere to the shoppers. That is market orientation. And upscale orientation is here competitive advantage is derived from the prestigious image of the store. The profit and margin per unit are high, but coupled with higher operating cost and lower inventory turnover. So upscale orientation, the profit margins depends on the image of the store, right? The profit margin per unit are high, and this is coupled with higher operating cost and low turnover, low inventory turnover. So, on the basis of your there are various approaches for retail pricing. That depends what type of approach you are choosing, whether you are choosing a discount orientation approach or a market at the market orientation approach or a upscale orientation approach. That depends on the retailer what type of approach or what type of a product or quality or product or the services they are offering, and it also depends on the target consumer, target customer to whom you are targeting, right? If you are targeting the classes, then one must go for upscale orientation, right? If one is targeting masses, then go for discount orientation or at market orientation. You can opt any one of the strategies, right? Okay, retail pricing strategies, everyday low pricing, EDLP, everyday low pricing. Goods are either sold below their normal price or some sales promotion scheme is available, like in Big Bazaar or other supermarket stores. They are everyday low pricing. That is, goods are sold below their normal prices, or some sale promotion scheme is available, buy one get one free. If you will buy one product, the cost will be 36 rupees. If you will buy two units, cost per unit will be 34. If you will buy more than three, then the cost per unit will be 32. So these are everyday low pricing, when goods are either sold below their normal prices. High-low pricing. In high-low pricing, retailers offer prices that are sometimes above their competitors. Everyday low pricing, but they use advertisements to promote frequent sales. Right. So, what is high-low prices? High-low prices is when you are offering a product that is above the competitors. Everyday low pricing means that is above your competitors' price, but they use advertisement to promote the frequent sales. You use advertisements, right? Then leader pricing. Retailers sometimes price particularly fast moving product at lower price to attract customer to the store. So leader pricing is, suppose if I want to purchase eggs, right, and the cost of egg is 10 rupees per unit, right, and some store is offering the price of the egg at some store is say 8 rupees per unit or 9 rupees per unit. Then what they because it's a fast moving product, and people will go to that store which is of which the price where the price is low, right? Suppose if I'm getting the same product at 8 rupees per unit rather than the 10 rupees, I prefer to go to that store. Suppose 8 rupees per unit, when I wanted to purchase eggs, and eggs the retailer is providing the retailer has kept the price at the lower side for the product, right? Might be with egg I prefer to buy bread, I prefer to buy milk also, right, or a butter too, right? So the price of egg is 8 rupees per unit, but the price of other things are at par with the market or could be higher than the market. So they can earn profit on the other products. So this is leading prices, when retailer keep the price of a particular fast moving product at lower price to attract the customer to the store. When the customer comes to the store because of the lower price, rather than there could be the chances, rather than purchasing only one product which is at lower price, they'll prefer to buy more product from the store, right? This is known as leader pricing, right? You are selling milk, butter, bread at higher cost or at the same cost other are selling, but you are selling the eggs at the lower cost. This is leader pricing. Skimming pricing. Price skimming is a pricing strategy in which retailers sets a relatively high price for a product or services at first and then lowers the price over a time. This is skimming price. Suppose you have kept the price of your product higher at the beginning, and then eventually you lowers down you lower the price of your product, and that is known as skimming prices. Then penetration price. Penetration pricing is a pricing technique of setting a relatively low initial entry price. At the initial level, the price is low. A price that is often lower than the eventual market price. You are offering when you are entering in a market, you are offering a product at a lower price. This is penetration pricing. The expectation is that the initial low price will attain a market acceptance by breaking down the existing brand loyalties. If you are entering in a market, right, and you are keeping the price of your product low, the expectation is that this will break down the brand loyalties, right? If I'm getting the same similar type of not same a similar type of a product at a lower cost, then people might prefer to buy that product. This is known as penetration pricing, the pricing which one keeps while penetrating, while entering the market. This is known as the penetration pricing, right? I hope this is clear. So retail pricing strategies, it depends. It depends. See, pricing depends on many things. Pricing depends the type of customers you are serving, the suppliers you have. Then pricing depends on the competition, what type of market you are in, right? Competitors, and then pricing depends on the government policies. Then there are various pricing strategies that depends what type of a products you are selling and what suits you. The pricing strategy could be EDLP, everyday low pricing, high low pricing, right, or a leader pricing, or a skimming pricing, or the penetration pricing, right? Sourcing and inventory management, it is very important. Sourcing and inventory management. Sourcing, what is sourcing process? Determining the categories, that is each category must have distinct feature and therefore different points of attention from buying point of view. What is sourcing process? Sourcing process is from where will you get the product, right? It is very important for the sourcing process to estimate the future demands and identify the vendors or source of supply. Right. The sourcing process involves the first step is determining the categories, estimating the future demands, identifying the vendor or source of supply, develop evaluation criteria, interaction with selected vendors, and complete vendor selection. Right. So, first is determining the categories. Each category have distinct features, and therefore different points of attention from buying point of view. Yeah. In retailing, it is very important to categorize your products, right? And each category has different features, distinct features. And second point is estimate the future demand. This is sourcing is very important. While you are sourcing a product, right? You are investing money in it. So it is very important that you should wisely invest money in the product. There are many things, many steps which one should keep in mind while sourcing the product. right? First is determining the categories. Divide your products into the categories, and each categories has a different features. If you will not divide the product into categories, it will become difficult for you to source that product. Then estimate the future demand of each and every product. Suppose if you have invested some money in any of the product, in X product, and that product is not moving, then that your money is blocked. You're not earning profit. In fact, your money is blocked. You're making losses. So it is very important to determine the demand for the product. There are various ways to determine the demand for the product. So it is very important that you should be able to determine the product. Then identify the vendors or sources of supply. Suppose if you have determined the product and if you don't have the suppliers for that product, the X product is in demand, but you don't have a supplier. So identify the vendors or supplier who can supply the required amount at the right time, the right amount at the right time, at right cost. So identify the vendors and the sources of supply where you can get that product. After identifying the product, develop the evaluation criteria. How will you evaluate whether that product or that supplier is good or not? Evaluate on the basis of product quality. What type of product quality someone is supplying, or what is the quality of the product? Is the quality of the product good or not? What is the price of the product? Evaluate on the product prices. Then transportation time. How much transportation time will it take? Suppose if I ordered a product in today, then how much time will it take to provide me that product? Then transportation cost. What will be the transportation cost of moving the product from one place to another? And product packaging. Packaging even plays an important role. Product packaging is even important. After identifying the vendors or the source of supply, right, you have developed an evaluation criteria for various, you have developed evaluation criteria, and then interact with the selected vendors. Interact with the vendors so that you could come to know about their price, about their product quality, about their terms and conditions, about their transport, packaging, and the product. Interact with the selected vendors. If you came to know about, say, about the 100 vendors, interact with these selected vendors. You feel like these vendors are the one with whom I would like to uh, uh, interact, or I would like to do the business. Then complete the vendor selection. After interacting with the selected vendors, after finalizing, after negotiation, complete the vendor selection. Complete the vendor selection with whom you want the supplies. Right? So complete the vendor selection. It is very important. The sourcing process is a cumbersome process, right? Because you are investing the money. Or if you have invested money in that and that product is not moving, you are making a losses. And if some product is in demand and you are not able to provide that product to the customer, even then you are losing your potential customer and making losses to your business. So it is important that you should understand how important the sourcing is. So first important thing is determine the categories, right? Fast moving on. Then estimate the future demand for each and every product and category. Identify the vendors who can give supply the product. Develop the estimation evaluation criteria on the basis of which you can evaluate the product at the vendor. Then interact with the selected vendors. Select the vendors. Complete the vendor selection. So this is these are the crucial points of source management, right? Vendor relationship management, VRM. Now you have selected a vendor, you have completed a vendor selection. Now vendor relationship management is important. Vendor relationship management is strengthening of buyer vendor relationship to achieve mutual beneficial goals and establish trust to enable long term connect. Why it is important? VRM is relationship management is to make a good relationship or strengthen their relationship between the buyers and vendors. Why is it required to have a good relationship between the vendor and the buyer? So to achieve the mutual beneficial goals that buyer as well as the vendor both depends on each other, so everyone can they should achieve mutual beneficial goals, establish trust, and to enable long time connect, right? The efficient VRM can provide several strategies and operational benefits like quality increments, improved total cost of ownership of goods, innovation, smooth flow of data, and mitigation of supply chain risk. So if you have a good relationship with your vendor, then there are various benefits you'll get from the vendor, like quality. You'll get a good quality product, right? Then the you can decide. You can both can decide on the price of the product, and a smooth flow of product or data, and then there is no mitigation of the chain, right? There are the best practices to manage a good relationship is to have a frequent and open communication between supplier and buyer. Establish feedback channels. Have dedicated team to address vendors' concern related to operation and payment. Conduct annual vendor scorecard that includes key performance index. So these are few points on the basis of which you can manage a good relationship with your vendor. You should have a frequent and open communication with the vendor so that both can communicate and state their concerns, right? Establish a feedback channels. There should be a feedback channel for both, and you should have a dedicated team to address the vendors concerns related to operations and the payments. They should get the answers. Vendors should get the answers of their queries. Conducting annual vendor scorecard that includes key performance index. You can make a performance card based on the various variables, right? And you can evaluate each and every vendor on the basis of that scorecard of those variables. Plan and share demand forecast and concern as early as possible so that they can provide you the supplies. Okay. Include vendors in product development and have a systematic plan for vendor business strengthening when retailers are more powerful and financially stronger. So all these are very important points which one should keep in mind, which it will uh, improves a vendor buyer relationship. Right. Now, sourcing after sourcing comes warehousing and stocking. Now you have a vendor which is ready to supply you the product. Now, where will you store that product? So you know where you need a warehouse. So warehousing and stocking is important. This is the last step in sourcing of merchandising process. Receiving merchandise and then stocking is perhaps one of the critical function of sourcing, right? So stocking is important critical function. This involves various tasks such as receiving of goods, checking the invoice, matching the goods received with goods ordered list, and adding the goods received to the stocks. So once you get this stock, there are various steps involved in uh, the stocking process, that is check the invoice, match the goods received with the good ordered list, and adding the goods received to the stock. Finally, making payments and planning for its entry in the store. At this point, it is duty of the retailer to check damaged goods, unordered goods, and the deficient goods. Right? So it is very important that the pricing strategies and sourcings play a very important role in retailing. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Namaskar.